back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Jumoke. Nice to meet you. I'm your favorite femininity coach and women's mentor. If you like videos like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so that you can continue to get more great content. And if you're a woman and you're looking to level up in your femininity journey and to truly become that woman, just beautiful woman inside and out, make sure you do schedule a discovery call with me and we can see if I can help you out in that process. All right, so let's talk a little bit about 3 cultural norms that are hindering your femininity. I said I will talk about this in the last video, in one of the previous videos I've done, so here it is. So the first cultural norm that we have to unlearn in order to heal and to become more feminine is parentification. So parentification is exactly what it sounds like. It's turning a child into a parent prematurely. So everything has a season. In the Bible, in Ecclesiastes 3, it says there's a time and a season for everything under the suns, under the heavens. Everything has a specific time. When a child is a child, it's a season for that child to be a child. It's extremely redundant, but when you parentify a child, you are robbing that child of their childhood, basically. And so many things happen as a result of it. I'll give 2 examples based on the cultures I've grown up in and what I've observed and what is extremely toxic. So I'll talk about Nigerian culture. Sometimes I want to say African culture, but I don't know what the heck the Egyptian people doing over there. So I'm going to just say Nigerians. I know a lot of West Africans, at least, and most continental Africans can probably relate in one way or another from what I'm saying. But again, since I don't know what y'all think Africa is a country, is a continent, I don't know what they're doing over there. I'm going to just talk about my country, okay? And what I have seen in the culture growing up. So it is very common in Nigerian culture to make a child or a daughter a mother. It's extremely common. Nigeria has this culture of hierarchy. So if you're just one day older than someone, you're automatically their elder. And it's this very, I don't know, like it's like this superiority and hierarchy thing in Nigeria, but it's extremely toxic. So it's not uncommon to see, let's say, the oldest daughter be the second mother of her siblings, of her younger siblings. So let's say, for example, if she is 10 years old and she has a sibling that's maybe 4 years old. It's not uncommon for the mother now to say, oh, you're her second mom, and oh, you can discipline her, and oh, you have to take care of her, oh, you have to blah, 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 oh, you have to, basically making that child a parent. And they say, oh, well, you talk to her because you're closer to her age, or oh, when I'm not here, you're the second mother. It is extremely, extremely toxic. And the reason I say that, because again, you're forcing that child to grow up before their time, because that's not their job, that's the parent's job. Because mind you, a lot of parents would say if you have a baby out of wedlock in their home, they'll tell you that's your own problem. Go and raise the baby. You wanted to have it, go and raise it. But that child didn't have that baby. So why is that child being forced to be a parent to that child? Again, it's a difference between being an older sibling. It's a difference from having responsibility, but then it crosses the line into parentification, where the parents are releasing the onus of parenting all on the children, and they are maybe absent or negligent to the actual child, which actually is a form of emotional abuse. And we have to call it out for what it is in order to heal. When we attach a name and give things languaging, that's when we're able to heal and move forward. But parentification in that way, like I said, what it causes when women grow older and how it hinders your femininity is women like this, sometimes they try to regain their childhood when they're older in a way of self-absorption, in a way, or self-centeredness rather. So it kind of repeats the same cycle, that daughter was now being put in a position that she feels like everyone else's responsibility is her responsibility, and she puts the needs of everyone else above her own. And she doesn't even know what it looks like outside of that. It's not uncommon like women like that to land themselves in codependent relationships or to just bend over backward for men. And I've seen this a lot in our culture simply because that is what is taught, that everyone else's need is above your own and you are always put in a position of a caretaker. So yeah, that can sometimes happen. And again, because that parent has always been in this cycle of, okay, I always have to like take care of everyone. You know what? When I have kids, you take care of yourself. I don't even want to do this anymore. And this is what happens when you are a parent before your time. I'll also make an example with what I've noticed in American culture. So let's take the example of single motherhood. And this happens sometimes in single motherhood, that the son will now be parentified into the role of a husband. And sometimes, I mean, there's a spectrum of it, but it can be a pretty perverse that the son is now assumed the role of the man in the house simply because there is no man in the house who knows where the father is. And again, it robs children of their childhood to the point that, you know, it's like all the affection is now doted on the son. And let's say if the son has a sister, that sister a lot of times is neglected, and they see that there is a difference in the affection that the brother receives versus the way that the daughter is received. That it's just all the emotional attention is given to the son, and now the daughter is kind of forced to be parentified as well and to do things herself. So if you ever find yourself in that type of situation, you might struggle with an independent mindset. Like, oh, well, I had to do all this stuff myself. I had no daddy, my mom, I don't know what she was doing, but I had to basically learn everything on my own. And it can, again, it's just a wound. It might seem like it's strength, but it can just be a wound that needs to be healed. If you were parentified too soon and if you weren't given certain things when you were younger. So a lot of parents think as long as their children have the basic food and shelter, then that's it. But parenting is so much more. Like, you need to give your kids emotional and mental attention as well for their development. If not, they're stunted, and for women, it can definitely hinder their femininity when they grow up, okay? So the next thing, we talked a lot about parentification. Let's talk about gaslighting. Whew. Okay, so let me try to explain what gaslighting is without sounding too scientific. Gaslighting is basically when a person is trying to make you accept their reality and not your own. So let me give an analogy. You know, I love my now. I think I'm gonna call them Jumalogies because, you know, it's like Jumaka and now. Okay, anyways, so let me give you an example. If you were to go into your fridge right now, you were to take out some milk and you were to pour it into a glass. Now your eyes are seeing the milk is curdled and your nose is smelling a rancid scent. What would you then assume? Most of us would say, oh, I mean, the milk is bad and I probably shouldn't drink it because it's bad. But why? Simply because your senses told you that the milk is bad. So with your eyes and your nose, you are sensing this milk is bad, and if I consume it into my body may be harmed. I may be sick, I may get sick, or whatever the case is. Now, when it comes to gaslighting, let's take an example of, I don't know. Let's say if a mother goes to her daughter and says, oh, you're so fat, and oh, orobo, that means fat in Yoruba, like, oh, look at you, you're so fat. Now, let's say the daughter, something is like, I don't like how that felt, right? And she goes to the mother and says, like, you know, I don't really like that you called me fat. And then the mother says,
oh, you Americans, you're so sensitive. Like, it's not even that deep. Like, oh, you're so sensitive. Every time someone says something, but you even know you have to lose weight anyway. So please, my friend.
So now that daughter is like, okay, well, maybe I guess I was wrong. Okay. And what you don't understand is you've just accepted body dysmorphia. So something the Lord has shown me is that emotions are the gateway to your soul. A lot of times with women, especially in American culture, African culture, we're gaslighted so much to turn off our emotions. that we see any type of negative emotion as a form of weakness because we have been shamed, and any emotion outside of pleasant or neutral is shamed, disregarded, dismissed, and belittled. And what it does is it allows us to take in things that is actually harmful to our souls. So like I said with that example, it's like now that daughter has accepted body dysmorphia. And it's something we definitely have to heal. Like it's a norm, like cultural norm. Like honestly, if you're not even understanding of this, but it is everywhere. And if you have a low emotional quotient, EQ, you will not be able to spot it. And gaslighting, again, it just kind of lowers your emotional intelligence, but your emotions were given to you by the glory of God to be able to say like, something's not right. I don't think I should accept this. No. So when someone treats you a certain way, again, for some of us, it can lead to things like passive aggression, right? For women, like how it hinders your femininity. Women like this who've been gaslighted, sometimes they're passive aggressive. Sometimes they don't speak what is actually on their mind for the fear of being judged because, oh, I don't want to be looked at as a certain way or whatnot. So, and women like this, they suffer with a lot of resentment, a lot of bitterness, a lot of anger, internal anger, simply because they did not have an outlet to properly express what was going on with them. Because once you're able to identify, once your emotions identify something is wrong and you sit with it for a little bit, then you can actually form boundaries. And usually gaslighting, it lowers your EQ, and it also prevents you from setting proper boundaries, which as a feminine woman, you need to have boundaries in life. You have to. But if you're not emotionally intelligent, it can definitely hinder just like understanding your worth, understanding boundaries, etc., etc. So last thing, and I'm done. I hope this is not too long of a video, is shame. So it's really common in culture and just modern society to just use shame as a tactic of control. And shame is not the best mode for long-term growth. Shame may work in the short term, but not in the long term. So what's an example of shame? Let's say if you have a mother, maybe she suffers from narcissistic tendencies or whatnot, but let's say she struggles a lot with perfectionism and she's trying to image manage, which means she's trying to manage the image of her life and how the world perceives her. So she doesn't want to look like anything to the church folks or to blah, blah, blah. She wants to, have this cookie cutter life. So what ends up happening is she may start to become manipulative to her kids. So let's say if you had a mother like this that maybe you wanted to do something that she in her mind did not fit the image for her family and her life. So let's say, I don't know, you're creative or you wanted to do a degree that was not a lawyer, doctor, engineer, or a disgrace to the family, Let's say it wasn't a lawyer, doctor, or engineer. You didn't want to do that. You wanted to maybe do music. So she may use shame to be like, why would you want to do music? That's so stupid. You're not going to make any money. That's shame. So now you're thinking like, well, okay, dang, I guess, whatever. And again, in the short term, you may actually do a lawyer, doctor, engineer, but in the long term, it didn't produce much fruit. And this society just shames women so much, shames them in their body. Things like, oh, women should look like this, and if you look like this, then it's like so much shame around body, so much shame around identity. And the thing with shame is that shame attacks the self-esteem and it attacks identity. And some people think like, oh, it's just the truth though. Be careful of people who say it's just the truth. Be careful of those people because I can guarantee you they have pride issues and they don't say things humbly, okay? And you have to be discerning when people are using shame tactics, because I believe that you can encourage someone without shaming them. To me, it's just not a godly thing to do. And when you have been shamed so much in your entire life, it's definitely something that you have to heal from so that you can become that feminine woman that you're called to be. So that's it for this video. Those are just 3 cultural norms. There's so many, and there's so many different examples. I'm not saying you're falling into any of these things. I'm not diagnosing anyone. I'm not curing any disease or illnesses. This is just for your own self-awareness, something to reflect on. If you're a believer, take it back to the Lord and pray about it. But yes, and if you do want to heal from things like this, definitely do set up a femininity coaching, a femininity strategy, a femininity discovery call with me to see if you and I are a good fit, if I can help you to overcome everything that I just mentioned in this video. And also, if you're a woman and you want to be redeemed from things like this, like from trauma and whatnot, we're definitely having a session of this in my conference that me and my ministry, Single on Purpose, we're hosting July 30th to August 1st. It's a 3-day conference. We are meeting in Atlanta, Georgia, so definitely do make sure that you get your ticket. And if not, you can definitely join us online, hybrid. All the sessions will be available to you, okay? So let me know what you guys think about this comment, about this video. I can't talk, it's late. In the comment section, let's have a discussion. Have you ever experienced any of these cultural norms? How did it make you feel? Was this insightful? Let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.